Hi, my name is Hannah Buckner, and for the next few minutes I'm going to be talking about Russification, the fall of the Soviet Union, and the current geopolitical climate of Russia. Russification refers to the voluntary and forced assimilation of non-Russian communities into Russian culture. When using the term Russification, we are specifically referring to the other 14 recognized Soviet republics that were forced to adopt Russian culture in favor of their own. Many of these countries gave up their native language, political power, and citizenship to be aligned with Russia. To understand the process of Russification, we must look at the Soviet Union and its beginning. Founded in 1922, this communist superstate saw rapid industrialization under Stalin's rule. The Soviet Union was becoming extremely powerful, and their early lead in the space race and victory in World War II solidified their standing as a political powerhouse. Featured here is a piece of Soviet Union propaganda used to show and verify the strength of the USSR. It depicts an average worker side by side with a Soviet soldier, and they're both holding a missile. This is meant to be a show of strength and unity amongst the Soviet people. The primary hallmark of the Soviet Union is the communist politics that it upheld. The USSR fought hard to ensure the capitalist exploitation would no longer be a problem in the Soviet Union. There was no room for private industry. This is a picture of a piece of communist propaganda. In 1991, the Soviet Union dissolved, but it was a long journey of rejection and war that led to this. Russia's forceful use of Russification was polarizing to the other 14 recognized countries. Even regions like Chechnya, which we will discuss in more detail, were fighting against Russia. Furthermore, the Soviet Union was at odds with most of the world. This is just an example of a fallen Stalin statue. Statues of Stalin were removed from all over the Soviet Union, but it represents the changing tides of the USSR. The Cold War presented many issues for the Soviet Union, and this loss led to its eventual dissolution. The state of geopolitical tension began in 1947 and lasted until the fall of the Soviet Union. During this time, the USSR and the USA had many standoffs, including the space race and the Cuban Missile Crisis. Despite their early lead, the USSR fell short in the space race after the United States put men on the moon. The Soviet Union bankrupted itself and was forced to remove their missiles from the island of Cuba. Unlike the USSR, the United States was thriving during this time as a world superpower. The United States was not the only country to fight Russia. 14 other Soviet republics rejected Russification, and the Soviet Union fell. As mentioned previously, one region seeking independence from Russia was Chechnya. During the First Chechen War, Chechnya gained independence. However, this was short-lived, and they lost this independence to Russia during the Second Chechen War. The fighting is still taking place amidst Russian and Chechen attempts to rebuild Chechnya. After the fall of the Soviet Union, one man rose to the occasion during this chaos. Vladimir Putin was determined to restore Russia to its former glory and reclaim the territories lost in the fall of the Soviet Union. Putin instills fear in much of the world, and for good reason. His rise to power was less than politically acceptable. He was able to gain the presidency by befriending powerful crime bosses. While his rule has been menacing, it has been strong. He is responsible for the war in Chechnya. Under Putin's rule, Russification is still occurring. Russia is only beginning to flex its strength once again as they terrorize neighboring countries.